Welcome back. You're watching the India Today Group Mood of the Nation opinion poll. In the last part of our program, we will now race through the remaining states and then play out the national big picture. What would the new parliament look like? Let's start though with the crucial battleground state of Uttar Pradesh, where the BJP and its ally had won 73 out of the 80 seats in the Lok Sabha elections. That tally, would you believe it, projected to go up further by 3 more seats, going up to 76 seats out of 80. The UPA holding on to the 2 seats that they bagged in this election. Let's now look at the Samajwadi Party, which had 5 seats, mostly belonging to extended family members of the Yadav Parivar. That's now coming down to 2, a loss of 3. The BSP was 0. They stay at 0. From 73 to 76, that is a very strong performance given how well they'd done in the last elections. Let's come to Gujarat. In Gujarat, the BJP had won 26 seats. They hold on to those 26 seats. So 26 gun
increasing.
Salute. It can't increase. There are only 26 seats. Otherwise, they'd find with the sort of engineering, financial and all manner of engineering that they can do, they could find another way of increasing it. But as of now, they have 26 seats. The Congress didn't open its account. They're again out at 0. Let's look at Assam now. And it's interesting here because the BJP had done remarkably well given its past history in Assam. They're now poised to do even better, from 7 increasing that tally to 9, and that is significant because that essentially suggests that there is a possibility that if the Tarun Gogoi government were to go down, BJP would be in the race in Assam. Or is it not fair to suggest that, Ashok, because this is only a Lok Sabha poll and the party on the ground in Assam is simply not strong enough to be able to win by itself?
Well, the party is stronger than it has ever been because a large part of the AGP has also, in bits and fragments, merged with the Congress, with the BJP. Sorry. Second, the Congress is going to be defending a 3-term incumbency, which is very difficult. The Congress itself is divided absolutely between Mr. Gogoi is a tall leader, but he's an aging leader, and he's past his sell-by date, frankly. And no, that sounds cruel. But the Congress central leadership doesn't want to replace him. I think the BJP is fairly confident in Assam. Nothing is a done deal, but it is probably best placed.
Better than ever before. Yeah. I think that's the best way to put it. It'll be too early to suggest that they could go on and win.
I would say Assam, Bengal, Orissa, 3 states where the BJP has never been dominant opposition or a leadership potential. As a result of the nationwide election seen in the Lok Sabha elections, I think the BJP's prospects at the state level in all these 3 states is going to increase.
Let's see what the other 2 states have. But let's focus for a moment on Rajasthan, where there was a clean sweep by the BJP in the 2014 Lok Sabha elections. Now that has come down by 1 seat, from 25 down now to 24. We don't want to hazard a guess on which that 1 seat is, but somewhere sitting in Jaipur, watching this broadcast, Sachin Pilot had just a small reason to smile. I bumped into him over the weekend and he said that it's actually better.
You might seek to the Congress?
Bigger possibility of Vasundhara slipping up, and therefore he believes the route to Delhi goes from Jaipur, and that's really what the Congress needs to focus on. From Rajasthan, let's come to Madhya Pradesh now. In Madhya Pradesh, the BJP had 27 seats. That now is going up by 1. So either Kamal Nath or Jyotiraditya Scindia won't like this at all. We don't know which one, or we don't want to say which one, because the base is small, but essentially it's completely saffronized. So whether it is Guna or it is Chhindwara, we don't know that, but one of these 2 Congress stalwarts is poised to lose, according to the India Today Group Mood of the Nation opinion poll. Let's now come to Tamil Nadu, where, again, very interestingly, there's been a big jump in the BJP's fortunes. The NDA had 2 seats. That's now poised to go up to 6, a gain of 4 seats. Now, this is significant because last time, even though the DMDK, the MDMK, and the BJP had come together along with the PMK, they weren't able to land enough votes to materialize into seats this time. Though the alliance seems to be able to turn those votes into seats as well. While the AIA-DMK is coming down from 37 to 32. That's a loss of 5 seats for Jayalalitha's party. The UPA
is getting one.
is getting one seat from
Without
zero.
the DMK or AIADMK, which is significant.
That is correct. That's what the poll suggests. Let's now come to Karnataka. In Karnataka, the NDA, which was on 17 seats, is actually poised to increase its tally now to 19, and that is significant because that shows that the Siddaramaiah government is slipping even further than the levels that they had hit in May. The UPA down from 9 to 7. Deve Gowda's party holds on to the 2 seats that they bagged in May. Let's come now to Kerala, another state after Maharashtra that I think is very significant because in Kerala too, the numbers are different from what we saw in May. If we put out the numbers for Kerala now, you will see for the first time the BJP opening its account in the state of Kerala. They're actually poised to pick up 3 seats in Kerala while the UPA is coming down from 12 to 7. Let's look at Delhi. And here are the numbers now for Delhi. And Yogendra Yadav would be happy to see the numbers for Delhi because this is one of the states, along with Maharashtra, where the BJP is slipping over its performance in the 2014 Lok Sabha elections, coming down from 7 to 5. And the 2 seats that the BJP is losing are not going to Congress. Instead, they're going to the Aam Aadmi Party, which essentially suggests, Dr. Yogendra Yadav, that when the Delhi Assembly elections will happen, it will not be a fight between the Congress and the BJP, as has been the case in Delhi for the last several decades. This time, the fight will be between Arvind Kejriwal, the Aam Aadmi Party on the one side, and the BJP on the other side.
Rahul, if I can chip in quickly, that of course has already established in the Lok Sabha election, and Congress is bound to slip in further. The important thing is just the 2 seats that you show, I just back calculated, it must be based on at least 5% swing. Now 5%, something like 5% swing within 2 or 3 months of the Lok Sabha election is unusual from a ruling party, and if you translate that into a Vidhan Sabha election with no Mr. Modi as a possible chief minister, what we are looking for is a surge in favor of Aam Aadmi Party. I don't want to speculate, and there's no basis to speculate any further, but something is changing on the ground, and the party that knows this best is the BJP itself, which, as you can see, is running away from elections in Delhi. I guess they have better surveys than you and me.
No, and the reality, G.V.L. Narasimha, you must hear my question before you answer. Hear my question.
Let me respond.
Okay.
It's a convenient analysis because we don't have the vote shares of different parties in this projection.
No, but
so
here is the reality.
If there is any gain from Aam Aadmi Party, the gain could also be coming from the Congress, not necessarily from the BJP.
Let's focus on reality. If the BJP were confident that they'd be able to replicate what happened during the Lok Sabha elections, when if you convert the Lok Sabha leads into assembly trends, you would have backed 60 of the seats out of the 70-seat assembly, you would have called early polls. The reason that you're not doing this is that you want to deny Arvind Kejriwal the oxygen that he will get if he's allowed to go back to the people, which is why you're persisting with this state of limbo. That's the reality.
No, the Aam Aadmi Party themselves have switched their positions at least a dozen times. Elections, no elections, we want to, they were given an opportunity, they formed a government, they ran away from governance, and then they said that the house should be dissolved. Then a few months later he comes back and says, revive the house.
What is the right thing to do?
Yeah, why
do the people of Delhi deserve to have an elected government or not? Right? Forget about what AAP wants or BJP wants.
So wait,
right?
there is still time.
Keep this
why are you jumping?
I'm sorry, this is essentially...
There is still time.
No, what it suggests is that
there
the
is
BJP
President's
is
rule,
waiting to see
which has not been extended.
A government can be concocted by splitting either the Congress or the...
No, but that Arun Jaitley and Modi don't want. So while the local BJP wants to form a government, there are other elements that don't want them.
We are not delaying elections. There is President's rule, and also elections have not been called in other states also.
Oh, don't tell us.
So wait for a proper time.
We know it.
So we can't hold elections because somebody wants to have elections tomorrow.
No, okay. But there's another important point, Dr. Lahiri. I want your independent take on this. While Yogendra Yadav uses the data to suggest that there's a big surge in the AAP vote, the reality is the BJP is still projected to bag 5 seats, and the AAP is less than half of what the BJP is likely to bag. If you were to do a rough calculation, that still suggests that the BJP is at least over 35, even if they're nowhere close to 60.
Yeah, I mean, I think this poll, what it is showing, we must be careful that this is showing Lok Sabha seats. assembly elections can be slightly different.
Very different.
Because they're not
because there's no
electing
Modi.
the Prime Minister.
The BJP doesn't have a big CM candidate in Delhi.
But I still think there will be the long shadow of Mr. Modi very much there in the Delhi election. I would like to describe it as a fight between the charismatic Mr. Arvind Kejriwal and the decisive Mr. Modi. See, I saw a very nice analysis that Mr. Modi is not charismatic. He has got experience, and what he brings, people are expecting.
No, but they're not voting
decisive.
for Modi in the
That's
Delhi
right.
Assembly election.
But they're voting for the charismatic Mr. Arvind Kejriwal.
Or they're
No,
fed
the
up with
charisma has
Kejriwal.
waned.
No, but the other
I would
reality
contend
Ashok
that
Malik is,
charisma
and I
has
want to
waned.
introduce Pawan Verma of the Janata Dal United, and I'm going to put out the national big picture in just a moment. But the reality also is that a lot of Arvind Kejriwal's supporters amongst the middle class, the educated and the affluent, who thought he was a man of change, are now frankly fed up and disgusted with him and will never consider voting for him. So he's essentially banking on the poor and the downtrodden to take up beyond 35.
Between the December 2013 election and today, the nature of AAP support has changed. That does not mean AAP has necessarily become weaker. AAP is still a very formidable force in Delhi, and as you quite correctly said, the battle will be between the BJP and AAP. Even in the Lok Sabha election, AAP finished second in fact, if I'm not mistaken, all 7 seats. Yes, it has lost some of the urban middle class, which has gone to the BJP and Mr. Modi, and will probably stick with it. But I would argue AAP has consolidated the urban poor. It has consolidated the Muslim vote.
Absolutely.
The Congress won a solid Muslim chunk in December 2013. I would imagine it would move to AAP now, because it would see it as the strongest anti-BJP force.
Which essentially
so the Delhi
suggests
Assembly election would
that
remain
GVL Narasimha Rao
a tough
and his
contest
party
between
have already
BJP and AAP.
calculated, Siddharth, that this will be a tough fight. They will not admit it on television,
that's the reason
but
they're
they know it's a tough fight,
No,
which
we
is why
can't
they don't
have
want
elections
polls.
whenever you choose.
You're
There
just
are-
saying
there
that
are no
that's bluster.
elections.
Don't tell us that
You switch between your psychologist cap and your political cap at a very convenient pace.
No, I'm telling you.
I'm telling you the reality. If you thought you were so confident, you would have called polls by now. Let's see that.
You can't have elections every month, or you cannot
not a
choose.
question.
You cannot. There are scheduled elections happening
Okay.
in December.
One by one, I think Pawan
And there
Verma
is
wants to come
president's
in and
rule,
make a
which
point
is
as
9
well.
months
Do
in
you
December.
agree, Mr. Verma, that the BJP is scared of Arvind Kejriwal or concerned about what he might do, which is why they don't want polls at this time, that they're not as confident as GVL would like us to believe?
Rahul, I am very surprised that in your poll you did not give the BJP 27 seats in Gujarat and 26 in Rajasthan. I mean, the sheer redundancy of holding a nationwide poll for Lok Sabha elections within 3 months of such a resounding victory by one party really defeats my imagination.
Sir, this is the
because
mood of
very
the
little
nation
on the
opinion
ground
poll.
would actually change.
It's one of the
no,
most
mood of the
important
nation. I'll tell
parameters
you.
of the mood
Let
amongst
me
the
finish,
people.
sir.
It's an
Sir, let
institution
me
by
finish.
itself.
Let
You're
me
entitled to your
let
opinion.
me finish,
This is
sir.
a very
I've come in
respected
very
institution
late.
by itself.
If
It
you
happens
can-
every
if you
6
can-
months,
if you
regardless
can
of whether
restrain
there are polls or
yourself
not.
from interrupting me, let me finish.
Yes, sir.
I will take 30 seconds only.
Yes, sir.
Sir, the mood of the nation is a poll that should be able to give a certain gap between the results of an election and how quickly public mood changes if you give enough time for it to be gauged. Within 3 months, when the government has hardly settled down and each minister is looking for a PS, and there is no yet alternative to the BJP, either in terms of a political formation or the
No, we will
emergence
have
of a new
another
leader.
poll
You've done a
in
statewide
January.
poll.
Around
But that apart,
around
but
Republic
that
Day,
apart.
there will be another
Now,
poll.
coming back to
Let's see
Delhi.
whether things change.
Coming back to Delhi, sir.
Yes, make your point because I need to put out the
My
national big
view,
picture.
Sir, with great, yes, sir. In my view, with great humility and a great deal of respect, I believe a poll at this stage is a redundancy, but that's your view. Now, come to Delhi. One thing I'll make clear to you, the point that I'm making about how public opinion begins to change, you yourself are demonstrating through the reticence of the BJP to expedite or fast forward elections in Delhi because they are not that sure whether they can replicate their performance as they had in the Lok Sabha.
That's absolutely
And
correct.
therefore, I'm
Now you
saying
will
to
allow
you-
me, sir, to put out the
Now,
national big
therefore,
picture
what I'm
because we
saying
have
is,
only
last
6 minutes
point.
on the show
Sir,
left.
last point.
Let me start with the
Last point
vote
only.
share projections nationally. Now, as an aggregate of all the states that we've been discussing over the last 1 hour, what does the national vote share projection look like? What could the new parliament look like? The NDA's vote share, riding mostly on the performance of the BJP, is actually expected to increase by 5% if elections were to be held today. But as Yogendra Yadav said, that is also because in the immediate afterglow of a big victory, people tend to be happy with the government that they believe that they voted to power. The UPA is where it is at 23. The others are coming down by 7%. But the big story there is the jump in the NDA vote share from an already very substantive 38% to now 43%. And that is a big, significant jump. Let's now see how this translates into seats. Can we have those numbers up on our screen now, please? This is what the new parliament could look like if elections were held today. The NDA is expected to increase its tally by 19. I think 358 is what they need to have a 2/3 majority. Their tally likely to go up to 354. So all of the controversial proposals which require constitutional amendments, which require a 2/3 majority, the NDA is within striking distance of that, an increase of 19 seats over the May results. The UPA likely to come down from 60 to 57, that's a loss of 3. And within the UPA, the Congress, which had 44 seats, is likely to come down to 40. So the leader of the opposition becomes 4 seats further away than it was in May, from 44 to 40. That is frankly embarrassing for the Congress party. Let's now look at the individual breakup of these parties and put out the vote share first. Here is the BJP Congress vote share. The BJP jumping up from 31 to 40, that's a gain of 9% of the vote share. The Congress is increasing its vote share from 19 to 21, that's a gain of 2%. But the bigger jump over there is for the BJP. Let's look at the Congress BJP seat share. And this is interesting because what this is going to suggest, and the numbers are coming up on your screen in just a moment, is that the BJP is actually doing better than the allies. So there are allies that have lost ground, which is why the BJP is gaining 32, which is more than what the NDA was gaining, and the Congress, as I suggested earlier, is coming down from 44 to 40. That's a loss of 4. In the last part of this program, I want quick final comments on the national big picture from all our guests, and I start with Dr. Ashok Lahiri.
I think, Rahul, the most important thing that comes out, you may call it a honeymoon, but it's not honeymoon. Honeymoon has got the connotation that the marriage is going to sour. Well, we don't have any indication so far that it's going to be a tough period ahead. People are very patient. They are still very hopeful that this government will deliver. And what we are seeing is that continuation of that optimism, and people are voting, are showing their intention to vote for the same government if given a chance again. But what will happen after 6 months, 8 months will depend on how...
We don't know what will happen after 6 or 8 months, but Pavan Verma, you were equally belligerent in your opposition to our polls before the elections. You were proven hugely wrong when the final results came out. Whether you like it or not, this poll suggests that the afterglow of the May results continues. Modi's honeymoon period with the voters of India is still on.
Just a last comment, Rahul. Without doubt, within 3 months of the last election, which was not a mixed election, it was a resounding victory for the BJP. To have a nationwide poll for the 2019 Lok Sabha election.
No, this is not for the 2019 election, Pavan Verma. I must correct you. This is a poll for what might happen if elections are held today. This is not for 2019. No one is crazy enough to suggest that anyone can predict today what will happen in 2019.
So let me finish. So therefore I say to you, if anything, in the option as yet of an alternative, either as a leader or a political formation, the BJP, you can continue to show whatever figures you like. But I want to make one important point. Between the kind of hopes raised, which I hope for the good of the nation this government fulfills, and between what has been deliverable so far that we have seen, including in the budget and in the increase in railway fares and prices in general, the public mood is changing, and how it will reflect 6 to 8 months down the line will be a very different.
We will have you back with us in January when we put out the second Mood of the Nation opinion poll, which will gauge exactly whether or not opinion amongst the public has changed. Dr. Yogendra Yadav, your final big picture takeaway, your perspective as a psephologist and also as a member of the Aam Aadmi Party.
Rahul, as a psychologist, I would say your poll is robust, it's credible. It may be a little premature, but that's all right. And it's on exactly expected lines. When you have such a resounding victory, it is followed by the kind of figures that you have. The real question to ask is whether Mr. Modi has gained more than most ruling parties do within the first 3 months. The answer is no, he hasn't. In fact, in his personal popularity and assessment of government, it is a little below par because those who have the extreme positive opinion is on the lower side. There are a couple of outliers, places like Maharashtra and Delhi, that would give NDA and BJP some reason to worry. Delhi would give people like me some reasons for hope. But I would simply repeat what Mr. Jivendra Narasimha Rao said. He said something very important, of course in the context of Telangana. He said it's very easy to charm people, to arouse their passions for a little while. Later on, you got to deliver. I think all Mr. Narasimha Rao has to do is to remember that in the context of Mr. Modi.
That's
easy to have these first initial
that is significant because you must remember, GVL, that this is a vote for development, for governance, not for any of the extremist Hindutva forces that are jumping on the sides and hoping to take over, to turn India into a Hindutva country. That is not the mandate. The BJP can't forget that.
Mr. Modi is a proven administrator. He has 12 years of experience behind him. And today, the vote for development is not a passionate vote. When I talked about Telangana, it is arousing regional passions, arousing divisive sentiments in Telangana. It has nothing to do with development per se. And 2 takeaways for me from this poll. The Modi magic is not only continuing, it is actually consolidating, it is strengthening. Point number 1. Point number 2, even those who did not vote for the BJP in this election, I think the increase in vote share of 9% or 9% is a very big number. I think it's because people who didn't vote for the BJP think they have missed the bus and they want to hop onto the bandwagon, the Modi bandwagon. So these are very, very positive pointers for us.
Okay. Kamal Farooqi, your big picture takeaways.
It's a challenge for Modi, in fact, because the honeymoon period is still on, and people still have got the same. People still have got the same kind of impression what they have got, and I'm pretty sure Delhi would be very, very surprising for Mr. Modi, because AAP will do much better than what has been thought by lots of people, and I'm pretty sure that they will do well also in Punjab, which has not been referred to.
Final words from Ashok Malik.
Well, the country's euphoria with Mr. Modi continues. Of course, as Yogindra Yadav quite correctly said, a similar poll in 2009 after the UPA won would also have indicated some gains for the UPA, perhaps not to the same degree, but it would have indicated gains. So yes, Mr. Modi has to prove himself and so on and so forth. But more than the BJP, I think these polls, these numbers should worry the Congress, because it proves that the Congress is set to lose Maharashtra, set to lose Haryana, even Karnataka, where it won an impressive mandate just 2 years ago, and where people expected that the Lok Sabha election reflected an aberration and Modi had swept aside Siddaramaiah and a strong local Congress. This poll reflects that that was not probably an aberration, and the Congress is set to decline even in Karnataka, which is the last major state it will hold after Haryana and Maharashtra.
I'll give Siddharth Varadarajan the last word.
I want to refer back to the earlier set of questions, right? In terms of how people interpreted Mr. Modi's victory, what is it that they want him to do in terms of priorities, right? So corruption, price rise, maintaining law and order, security, these are the top concerns. So if Modi wants to reap the harvest of favorable public opinion, which he seems to be carrying along with him, he will have to deliver on these, and he will have to draw a red line, a line in the sand, and not allow people like Mohan Bhagwat and others to cross that line with their ridiculous statements, divisive statements. So far, it's not clear what exactly Mr. Modi intends to do. We haven't seen that much on the price rise front or on the anti-corruption front. Okay. There's been a lot of declarations, but unless he turns those declarations into reality, these numbers are unlikely to carry on with.
My final take is this opinion poll proves yet again that what op-ed pundits and armchair studio talking heads think is not what the country thinks.
What the poll shows is hope floats at this time. What it also suggests is that people expect Prime Minister Modi to deliver on the hope that he's aroused in people. And if that doesn't happen, come January and then even beyond that, the numbers could begin to change. A lot to worry about for the Congress party, a lot of enthusiasm and cheer for Amit Shah, Narendra Modi and Team BJP, because they are now expanding their wings in states where the BJP has not been a potent force, raising the question whether the BJP has the chance of becoming the natural party of governance as the Congress struggles to revive and the BJP spreads into areas where it hasn't been so far. To all our guests and pundits for joining us on this broadcast, sharing with us your cutting-edge analysis and views, and to our guests who've joined us from outside, Yogendra Yadav and also Pawan Verma. Thank you all very much for joining us on this broadcast. I hope you enjoyed this program. It's an institution, the India Today Group Mood of the Nation opinion poll. Every 6 months, regardless of whether an election is about to happen or just got over, we go out to find out what people out on the streets think. These are the numbers put out raw and just the manner in which they were found. You make what you will of them. For joining us on this broadcast this evening, thank you very much. News and updates continue when we come back on the other side of what's going to be a very quick break. Thank you.